Hi everybody, DJ Yokley with you for this week's South Range Coaches Corner, proudly presented by Joe Dickey Electric. And as always, we got the head ball coach of the South Range Raiders, Mr. Coach Dan Yeagley. Coach, how you been doing this week?
I'm doing good. It's been a busy week. It's Crestview week, so it's always busy when it's Crestview week.
It certainly is Crestview Week, and we've been reminded each and every day this is the end of an era. Crestview and South Range, outside of the playoffs, will not meet. This has been a rivalry for as long as you've been a coach. Talk to me about the years and what this rivalry means to both sides of the equation.
Even before I was a head coach, it was a game. I mean, it was a rivalry. We can go all the way back to when Coach Julia was there and everybody else. I mean, it's been through some cycles and everything else, and it's a crosstown matchup. I mean, it's always been a good game. Similar size. We've always been about the same size. We've always had great battles. It's been a roller coaster ride, I could say, because all of a sudden, they're good, we're good, they're good, we're good. It cycles on through, and it's always been a great matchup. And Coach Cusick's a great coach, and he always gets his team ready to play. And I like the Crestview kids. My goes when I coach in all-star games. I always try to get a couple of those good Crestview kids on the team because that they're ball players, and it's and guys still keep in touch with some of them because they're special. And I'm sad to see it come to an end, and but we're the same size, so we may meet in the playoffs year in and year out. Who knows? But it's a sad time because it's always been a good matchup, and like I said, Coach Cusick and those guys are great coaches, and it's always been a great battle.
Talk about rivalries for a minute. I mean, when you look at this, and I apologize for the crowd noise here, we're at our maximum 15% here at YSN headquarters. When you look at rivalries as a whole, over the last 10 years, you've seen rivalries dip and dip and dip and dip. Is that a sad thing for all of sports to not be able to play your neighbor, so to speak, in some of these rivalries as conferences continue to grow and expand?
It is sad. I mean, my goodness, I'm thankful that Springfield still plays us. I mean, because that's always been a rival, even when I was in high school. But it is sad. I mean, you got schools right here next to you that sometimes just don't want to play or can't play or whatever else because of breaking up of leagues and reforming of other leagues and everything else. My goodness, I can think of the great games we've had with Columbiana and the great games, like I said, with Crestview and Western Reserve and those schools and everything else. But sometimes you got to move on, and sometimes you got to try to create new rivalries. And but the Crestview one's the one that I'm going to miss the most. I mean, because it's been a great battle and some great wars. And Coach Rock and I were just talking the other day. We beat them once. Oh my goodness, 7-6, I think it was. We only had 3 first downs the whole game. And actually, we scored on a 4th and long, hit Coach Rock down the middle, and ended up scoring. And it was a crazy game. And things like that, things that you always remember. Them beating us bad, we come back the next year, we beat them, and it's just back and forth. And like I said, great games, great memories, and sorry to see it come to an end, but. We got this game tomorrow night. Here it is Saturday. Well, it's almost Saturday. Looking at the clock, but it's going to be a great game, and I'm looking forward to it. Whether it was the end of the series or wasn't the end of the series, it doesn't matter. It's South Range versus Crestview, and we're going to have a great battle, and it's going to be a 48-minute war.
Yeah, we're going to get to that battle, this particular battle that you've been studying so well for over the last 6 days or so in just a minute. But let's talk about that Beachwood game before we are officially turn the page on it. Beachwood came in, and listen, they came in and they gave you their best shot, but injuries during that entire game, tempers flaring a few times during that game. Things got chippy, but when all was said and done, South Range did what South Range does, and your boys showed it up on the field. Losing a couple key players, it sounds like, but talk about how you move forward and it's the next man up for Coach Yeagley and the Raiders.
You know what? We've had that mentality all year. I mean, we lost Michael for a game and a half, basically, and the next guy up, Billy, stepped up and did a great job leading the team, being a quarterback, and um, you know, getting us a league win, which was very important at that time, and everything else, and finishing a game and getting us a league win the next week. You know, my coaches do a great job. My hats off to them because they get the kids ready to play every week. It doesn't matter who's up. It doesn't matter if it's a starter or if it's a backup or whoever it is. They're going to work their tails off to get these kids ready. And I'm so proud of the kids on how they pull together. And whenever you come across an injury or come across adversity, let's just throw adversity at you. The true team comes together, and that's what's happening. Our team's coming together. They've accepted new rules. They've accepted their responsibilities, and we're going to line up and play. I mean, it doesn't matter who's playing. It doesn't matter who's up. We're going to come out and give it our best shot. We're going to battle to the very end. It's part of the game. I don't want to say I'm numb to injuries, but we know it happens. We know it's going to happen. It's a brutal sport. It's a violent sport. But you know what? The kids are a team, and that's the most important thing, that they're going to pull together as a team and get through this and get through everything and battle. Become battle tested one game to the next. Beachwood was a great team. They really were. I mean, they're undefeated for a reason, and we started off slow again. There's 2 weeks in a row we started off slow, as we talked about, and some of that was feeling them out. Okay, what are they doing? What are they used to, and what are they doing to us? What are we doing to them? Adjusting to the team speed, because the team speed was a lot greater than what we're used to seeing in practice. And the kids adjusted, and guess what? They're going to adjust again this week, and hopefully we can't wait a quarter to start adjusting. We got to start adjusting right now at the very beginning and play all 48 minutes against this good Crestview team.
This is a Crestview team that knows you very well. You know them very well, and you talked about the slow start. I mean, with a team that knows you so well and knows what you have kind of on the sidelines, on the field at all times, I mean, how crucial is it to execute on nearly every play? I mean, everybody says you can't be perfect, but you got to be close to beat these rivalry teams in a team that's less than 2 or 3 miles away from your high school.
You do. I mean, you have to. Them. We know what they're going to do and everything else. We have to come out starting fast. I mean, we have to. Things are going to happen. It could. We're talking about offenses, and we're talking about their great offense and our offense. Both of them can score in a hurry, and that will. This may end up being a defensive battle. I mean, it very may well be, and it's going to get crazy. Yeah, I know it is, because they're a very aggressive team. They play great defense, and we play pretty good defense, so we're going to get after it that way. But it's going to be a chess game. He's going to move his pieces around, and we're going to move our pieces around and see what happens, and try to catch the other one off guard with something. And you got to be prepared for that. And you try to do what you do and not worry about that kind of stuff. But deep down inside, we know what they're going to do next, and they know what we're going to do next. So we're going to try to be as prepared as possible.
It's funny, these coaches talk about X's and O's and all the trick plays that they see that make the highlight film. But one thing that I've learned about playoff football is it all comes down to rhythm. And it's rhythm from your side offensively, it's rhythm from their side offensively, and it's also the penalties that makes this game choppy in one way or another. How important is rhythm, and do you ever address it with your team and your coaching staff?
Oh, all the time. I mean, we try to get into a rhythm. We try to get into our pattern, what we do, and we're going to do what South Range does. I mean, we really are. And like I said before, I'm blessed with great coaches, and the offense is going to get called. We're good. Everything's going to get called. It's going to be a rhythm. We're going to get things moving. You hope Michael's on rhythm and throwing the ball well. You hope the receivers are catching. Everything's in that kind of rhythm, and you hope that. Dylan does a great job finding those holes, and Luke Blasco, and hopefully everything is going smooth. But every once in a while you get that little cog, and you got a little break in the wheel, and that's when a true team will step up and try to adjust and do what they have to do. And that's what I've seen the last 2 weeks out of these young men. Little bit different teams, not knowing a whole lot about them. You prepare all week, and all of a sudden they throw a little wrench at you and say, okay, we're going to do this or we're going to do that. This team adjusted very, very well and changed a little bit where they needed to change and adapted and came out, we came out victorious because of that. And so we try to get into a rhythm. We try to do what we do all the time. If you go, you've seen us many times. You know that, we're going to do things you could probably almost call our plays and call our defense because that's what we do. And it's fun. But hopefully we catch them off guard with a couple little wrinkles this week and surprise them a little bit.
We had a chance to talk to Luke Blasco today, a little bit about Luke. I mean, I hear they call him the Crushin' Russian, which is pretty awesome. They talked to me about that young man. He looks like he wants to play at the next level, smart kid in the classroom, and he's a hard worker, both on and off the field. Can you just highlight Luke Blasco for a moment?
What do you want to know about him? He lives right next door. So I can tell you a whole bunch of stories. Matter of fact, Kelly babysat him when he was growing up. So, I mean, Luke is a phenomenal young man. Matter of fact, he wants to go on and play at the next level. He has a lot of different ideas and what he's going to be good at. He's going to be a great coach someday because he understands the game. He understands what it takes. He understands the work ethic. He understands different situations and how to adjust to situations. Been blessed to have him these 4 years because he's been, like I said, he's been an important part of our program. We've been successful because of him. Defensively, we've changed rules. I mean, he's done some different things, and we have him as a rush end right now. But we can drop him back into coverage. And last year he was a safety. So I mean, we can do. He's a very, very talented athlete, very, very strong, works hard in the weight room, works hard when we condition. A lot of fun to have in the classroom because I have him in class this year. And like I said, he's a great neighbor too. So he's in this year, I mean, he's been an important part of our offense. When you see Dylan run the ball, chances are Luke was opening up the hole for him. You can see Luke running the ball, Dylan was opening the hole up for him. And he's been a great, great part of our offense, catching the ball, getting open, making things happen when he does to get there. Our little reverse, our little counters that we run, he's always the part of that. And, once he gets in the open field, sometimes he doesn't want to score. He just wants to run into people. So I think that's where the Crushin' Russian comes into play, along with, coming from Russia also. But it's he's been a lot of fun to have on the team and a great leader for our kids. And I'm curious to see what the future has in store for him because, like I said, if he plays at the next level, fantastic. I think he can. I think he'd be very good at it. But someday, coaching-wise, he's going to be a great coach for somebody also. Hopefully with us Raiders.
Right. So a little inside information. When I asked him about his favorite subject in school, he said math. And then he paused and then said, mostly because of Coach Yeagley. So you got that going for you. Not only getting it done on the field, but in the classroom too, Coach. Finally,
fun, that's for sure.
You can slip him the 5 later to make sure.
Oh, there you go.
One of the things I wanted to talk to you about at the end of tomorrow's game, almost tonight's game, someone will be disappointed, right? Every senior their season will come to an end, and for some of these young men and women, their careers in football will come to an end. You deal with this on a regular basis, on an annual basis, almost 99% of your career. When you look at that, how difficult is that for you personally? I mean, you've come numb to injuries, as most coaches do. Do you ever become numb to seeing a player suit up for the last time in their school colors?
I don't get numb to that because that's a very emotional time because I've gone through it and, we've gone through it. We've all gone through it. It's hard. I mean, it really is. It's hard. When you get into the playoffs, there's only one team that ends the season on a win. And, we've been lucky and fortunate to be in the playoffs a lot. And, when you get in there, this could be the last game. Any game could be the last game. We talk about that as we go through. And, my heart breaks for those kids because, they work so hard and they have dreams, they have goals, they have aspirations to keep on going and keep on playing to the very end. unfortunately, sometimes that doesn't happen. You don't get all that way. And yeah, my heart just aches for him because, and tears are shed and everything else. And you become a bond, you become a family in that locker room. You get young kids loving on old kids. You got old kids loving on the young kids because it's you become a family. And that's what we talked about that last week and the week before about how special it is. And that's one thing that hurts bad is, that day, the last game. And, as funny as I saw on the internet, one coach was saying the last game, their last in-pad practice was on Wednesday, I guess. And, how he said, sad times and everything else because it's the last practice. And we don't think that way because we always want to keep on going. But, for some teams, it was the last game tonight. And hopefully tomorrow it's not our last game, but, that could happen. And, we're going to, some tears are going to be shed and some hugs are going to be given. And, we're going to regroup as coaches on, luckily, like I said, I have great coaches around me, and we're going to regroup and, we'll start preparing for the next year. But we do that just to relieve ourselves because for the kids, they don't have that. And, we feel for them, and, we'll start getting them in the weight room as soon as we can or as soon as we're allowed, and, start talking to them a little bit more. But it's hard. I mean, and sometimes, what do you say to the kids changes every year because every team's different. But that's the hardest thing when your last game, after the last game, you don't get numb to that because, like I said, my heart aches for them because I love them to death. And these kids are all special, and especially this team. Everything this team's done to get through this pandemic, what we've done with the 6-game season, we're going to talk about forever. And everybody getting into the playoffs, having a bye week, and playing 2 games that we've never seen, and getting to play our rival again. And there's been so much going on, things that we had to do, take temperatures, ask questions, do this, do that, stay in pods. I mean, there's been so much craziness that through all that craziness, I think we became closer as a team, and we grew better closer as a family. And it's going to be hard to say goodbye to these kids because, like I said, they're my boys, and I'm going to miss them dearly. But we're not going to talk about that yet because we got some more games to play yet. So we're going to keep on going, hopefully, and get after it.
Well, you know what they say: win, lose, or draw, Kelly Yeagley's cookies heal it all. So I keep hearing about the cookies and the pies. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for this matchup for you tomorrow, Coach. I can't wait. 5 o'clock, we will be on the air with YSN Primetime. Again, breaking ground at South Range as things have never been done before. So I'm excited to share the stage with you once again right before kickoff and have you talk to your old buddy Mike Ackelson across the desk from you.
Yes, we got you're going to see our walk over. I mean, because we're going to start walking over about 4:45, and our team walk over and stuff like that. It gets exciting. I mean, we've even changed throughout the season because some of the things that we've had to do and some of the things we need to do, and it's actually been really nice. The team walk over, the team coming over together as one unit and everything else. So you get to experience that, and looking forward to talking to you, and looking forward to the new experience that YSN's bringing to South Range football and everywhere for everybody. So I'm looking forward, DJ. That's awesome.
Coach, as always, we can't tell you how much we appreciate your time, especially as we approach the witching hour here on Hallows Eve. So,
hey, it's all right. I mean, I'm up, you're up. Why not? We can talk.
One last question for you. I threw this to Coach Q earlier. I'm interested in your response. Your best and worst Halloween costume you've ever had?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, my best one was probably one year I went as a bum, and it was pretty good because that was right up my alley, I think. So maybe my future calling, I think, is when I was a kid. But I was had the straw stuck in my shirt and everything else. Went down the road and grabbed a couple hay bales and filled myself up. And that was I don't know if that's my best or my worst, I should say. And you know, there's always that good ghost every once in a while too. So yeah, I mean, we've gone through a lot of different ones. You should ask Kelly that. I mean, she went last year as a Raider football player, and she looked pretty good too. So
All right. Well, next week, here's my promise to you. Next week, we will sit down and we will do Coach Kelly and me will have a all access interview. We've wanted to do it for 3 years now. We just
my
never
goodness.
have. I'm excited. Maybe we're going to stamp it. Next week, we're doing it one way or the other, and I'm excited to bring Kelly into the mix.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be great. But I'll just let her slack. I'll just sit back and make fun or do something.
That's what the best husbands do, right? They just
Yeah.
they let their wife talk and they take care
Maybe I
of her
should be
later.
on the other side interviewing her. No,
There it is.
no.
Coach, thank you so much. Good luck tomorrow. We'll see you at the field.
Thank you so much, and thank you again, Weiss, and DJ, and all you guys for all you've done. And I got a letter this week from some of my former players. Obviously it's Crestview week, so those guys come out, and Chris Hatch was one of them. He didn't play for us. He regrets it all the time. But Jimmy Sanders and Jake Moore and those guys, all reached out saying, wishing good luck, and they follow us, online all the time. They're spread out all over the country, and what a blessing you are to be able to get our season out to them. And like I said, I appreciate it. The alumni appreciate it. Everybody appreciates it. So thank you, YSN. Thank you, DJ. Really appreciate it. And go Raiders.